Hey, Miss Burwell. Okay, so this is our third attempt, or my third attempt at this video. There's something wrong with my webcam. It keeps like freezing up and then not saving. Now it's like, I don't know, freaking out on my computer, showing some like stuttering kind of stuff. I don't know. It's really freaking me out, but hopefully this will save right. I guess what I'm here to talk about is my experience with TOK this year, which has been an awesome one actually. I've been stoked to work with you and blog posts and stuff and learn about, oh my gosh, I've learned about so many different things. I love the article I saw on BBC. It was actually a video on BBC that I saw where there was this guy who was talking about auditory illusions and how when you would see someone, you'd hear the same noise. So every time you closed your eyes, you'd hear the same noise. But then when you'd look and you'd see his lips moving, it would he'd make two different like mounts. He'd make a ba sound, a da sound, or something. And depending on what you saw with his lips, like your perception of what you were hearing changed, which was really, really scary to me. I don't know, because it's like it makes me feel like what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, isn't actually what is happening, which is scary. It really makes me doubt whether my sense of perception is reliable, actually. But something cool about the nature of knowledge that we learned was how when we think, like the processes we've used to kind of change our sense perception and then take that and like turn it into knowledge. And I learned a lot about that this year when we were talking about like cognition and schema and stuff like that, and psychology too, which is a great way to link our classes together. Schema is this actually really interesting concept where when you see things, you don't really have enough time to like write a new memory for each object you see. So I guess if you see a book, you're not gonna actually like re-examine the concept of a book. You're just gonna kind of fit that book into your schema, even though it could be different. You think of it as just a book. Where like if someone tells you that these which is actually, it's kind of cool because when you hear a story about, there's a study by Bartlett where he told a bunch of British people about a story about North Americans and the natives. He told them a story about like hunting seals or something, and something cool was when the more they recalled that, the more elements, unfamiliar elements, they changed into conceptually familiar elements that like they were familiar with. So like they would change hunting seals to fishing, or canoes to just regular boats. They changed these things in the story to fit their own schemas, their own like mindsets, which was actually really cool to learn about and link that into the theory of knowledge. Another thing we did this year, which I really enjoyed, was my This I Believe project, because I actually learned a lot about myself when I was writing it, which was really fun. I had another, actually, emotion as a way of knowing was one of our units, and we did a color project where what I did was I took a successful art piece I had and I put it behind different backgrounds, or in front of different backgrounds, and what happened was I took pictures of it in front of a green screen and then put the different colored backgrounds behind it and asked people what they thought of the piece and what was the like emotion behind the piece and stuff. And I actually came up with a lot of different concepts based on whether the background was black or white or red or blue or green, different colors like that, ranging from like dying and struggling to like rising up and stuff. It was like a full-size cardboard body of myself. I don't know, it was cool. So that was a great thing where I can link another art class or another class to TOK. This is a language of a way of knowing. I learned a lot about how languages, like some people are known to, oh, wow, my light bulb just went out. Some languages or some cultures are known for talking really quickly, and what I found out is about when they talk really quickly, it's because they kind of have to get the same point across. Where in English, we talk really slowly, but we have a huge amount of vocabulary, and each like syllable has a ton of meaning. where in Japanese or something where or Spanish where they talk really quickly. I don't know. It said something about how there's less meaning per syllable, so it all ends up to be like the same amount of meaning. Like you'd say the same sentence in the same amount of time, but like Spanish or Japanese people would have more syllables in the same sentence, so they'd say it faster. So where it appears that they think faster and talk a lot quicker, it actually proves that we're pretty much the same, because this sense of meaning and sentence structure remains the same throughout all cultures, which is something really cool. Like it doesn't vary that off. Like people who speak really quickly, you normally think would be able to analyze data really fast because they have a really quick mind, where in reality they kind of are the same speed as everyone else. But their sentences have less meaning, I guess, like more syllables, which is really cool. But yeah, I had a lot of fun this year. And some of the other projects I did was I did a project on cartoons and racism, and how, like, I don't know, these racist messages have become more and more subliminal throughout history as we like near and past the civil rights movement, which was really cool. It was kind of it was a knowledge issue of how I think my question was like how has racism become more and more subliminal, where normally you'd have a cartoon where there's obviously like racist connotations in the visual connotations, where eventually as it gets more and more closer to the civil rights movement, the racist ideals have become more and more auditory and lyrical, which means that they're more subtle, but they're still in there if you look for them. It's just like the Jungle Book. Normally you'd think that's like right before the civil rights, right around the time of the civil rights movement, and the messages in that film are like obviously you can't see anything because it was about like a jungle, but the apes and stuff, they all actually had cultural references towards black culture, like swing and trumpet, and how they want to be like the other, like man, which is kind of really racist thing. I actually found like the Jungle Book to be one of the most racist shows, despite it being very subliminal, where Tom and Jerry had kind of a childish poke at racism, where they would have like a black person who can't speak well, and that's just racist. Like you can obviously tell what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But anyway, I had a great time this year, and thanks for being an awesome teacher. Bye.